Well, hello everyone. It's Thankful Thursday. We're almost to the weekend and thank God we made it. Before I get into my topic for today, just want to remind you guys that I do upload these videos to a podcast on Spotify. Name of the podcast is So I'm a Widow, Now What? I encourage you to go over there and sign up, subscribe to my podcast. And also, don't forget to visit www.cozyearth.com and use code WIDOW when you check out. And that saves you 41% on your order. That is a brand that agreed to sponsor me on my podcast. So I would really appreciate that. Also, for those of you who watch me on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, on Facebook, feel free to subscribe. I encourage you to subscribe to my page so that you don't miss any of my updates, and also so you can push my algorithm out so that I can reach as many people as possible who may be struggling with a loss. If you know someone who's a widow or a widower, tag them in my videos and encourage them to subscribe to my page as well. And while I did start this vlog with the sole intent of helping those of us who are on this journey of being widows or widowers, I am also thankful that from the feedback I've gotten that I've also been helping others who have different types of losses, parents, close friends, children. And so that was my goal, to try to help and encourage and bring all of us together and find a way to heal and walk through this journey. So yeah, just subscribe, follow, like, whatever, so we can push this algorithm up so I can help as many people as I possibly can, because like I said, that is my goal. So with that being said, today what I want to talk about is finding a purpose after the loss of a spouse. I've been medically retired now since 2018. The VA deemed me to be in a position where I didn't need to be working because of certain issues that came about from military service. And that was wonderful for me when it happened at the time, because I still had my husband. And of course, I was readily available if I was called upon to help with my grandchildren, particularly, the grandson that lives here in El Paso where I am. So that was great. It was also very easy to plan different vacations or getaways, because we only had to worry about one person having to put in for vacation time. My time was my own. So if my husband needed something done during the day that he was at work, he could call me and I could get it done because I was home. So retirement was great in that aspect because I had my husband. But since he's been gone, I've been struggling with what exactly is my purpose now, trying to find purpose in life. This past week, my youngest grandson has been staying with me because, like I told you in an earlier video, his mom's out of town, so I've had him. And that has given me so much joy and so much energy, and it makes me feel useful because I'm getting up, I'm getting him ready for school, I'm making sure that he has breakfast before he goes. I pick him up in the afternoon, he tells me about his day, I help him with any homework that he has. He wanted to take a pumpkin. They're allowing them to bring pumpkins in that they've decorated. So yesterday when I picked him up, it was like, Nana, can I get a pumpkin? Can I decorate it? So, we got him the pumpkin, brought it back. Now, I must admit, my daughter and her husband, his aunt and uncle, helped him do most of the decorating, But it was like it gave me a purpose. So I felt like I still had a a reason for being around, And I don't know if any of you ever experienced that every now and again, that now that your spouse is gone and your kids are grown and on their own and have their own families, I wonder, do you all feel the same way, that sometimes you figure, what's your purpose? You know, what do I do now? And when I say, what is your purpose, I don't mean that in the sense of, so let me clear that up. I don't mean that in the sense of, okay, well, there's no sense in going on and there's no sense in continuing to live. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, you may feel like, what is your purpose in other people's lives? You knew what your purpose was when your spouse was here. You knew the things that you all did together, the plans you made, the places you went, the things you did. You had all of that. So it was like, okay, the kids are grown, the grandkids are with them or whatever. The grandkids come and visit, the kids come and visit, and that's fine, but I'm okay because it's me and my spouse. So now there's more time for us. There's more time to do things, to spend time together, whatever. And then all of a sudden that person is gone. So now it's like, on a day-to-day basis, what is your purpose? Sometimes you just feel like you're just going through the motions. You get up, you do whatever needs to be done around the house. You clean, you wash clothes, you go to appointments, you go to occasional outings or whatever. But it's like, what happens when there's nothing to do that day? There are no appointments, there are no meetings, there are no outings, and you're just sitting there in the house by yourself. When you're used to having someone there with you, or at least having that individual, you can call them, on their breaks at work, or they could call you on their lunch break or things like that. But you don't have that anymore. So it's like, how do you reconcile the life you're living now with the one that you used to live and still feel useful? So, yeah, that's my big question, And so another reason why I started this vlog, to, like I said, express how I'm feeling, but also to get you all's feedback to help other people, because these are things that other people may be going through and may be afraid to say out loud or to talk to someone about, because they may feel judged. This is a judgment-free zone here. There is no judgment. However you're feeling and however you're dealing, I'd like to hear about it, because I'm vlogging for you guys to hear about how I'm dealing with things. So I'd like to know how you're dealing with it. So come, interact with me. Let me know how you feel about these different things. And for those of you who are still working after the loss of a spouse, you still have a job that you're going to or whatever, how has that dynamic that you're now in changed you? You had that person that you got up with every morning. You guys got ready for work. You left. Maybe you got home before they did, or they got home before you did. But you had each other there at the end of the day to talk about your day with. With your coworkers, you could talk about them to your coworkers. My husband did this. My wife said that. Or my husband's getting on my nerves, or my wife is so annoying. You know how we can be. And, you had other coworkers that would say the same thing. Yeah, they're annoying, but I love them, And that was always me. Yeah, my husband can be aggravating, but I love him. Wouldn't take anything for him. So how has it changed for you as far as the work situation now that you no longer have your spouse? Do people tiptoe around you, or do they continue to treat you the same way they did before the loss of your spouse? And that in itself says a lot, because you want people to be understanding and supportive, but you don't want people to tiptoe around you and block you off as if you have some type of contagious disease or you're untouchable. You still want that support. You still want to see that love, that acceptance. So, let me know what you think. For those of you who are going through it, or if you've been there and you've gotten over that hump, let the rest of us know how you did it. So, that's it for today. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day leading up to the weekend. And remember, no matter what we're going through, God is not through with us yet. Miracles and blessings.